Hi guys, Dawn here with BDR Creative Studios. Today I want to show you how to take a simple word, in this case we're going to do boo because it's October, and turn it into an ornament. I think we've all bought the words, the files, we've all bought the words within a shape, or within a decoration, and they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them, but sometimes we want to do our own thing, and so I'm going to show you how. So anyways, let's just get right into it. We're going to type out the word boo, and I'm making these a capital because that's what I want to do. And if you look, this is going to be a perfect circle where over here I did an oval. So we're just doing something different. Same thing, but different. All right, we're going to highlight that. We're going to change the font to something that we like, something that you like. I'm going to do Century 751, and I'm doing it in the bold. There we have it. Next, I'm going to get rid of the color. And this is Corel Draw. This is how we do it here. Your program may be a little different. Next, we're going to add a line around the boo. And I'm going to do a hairline since we're cutting it. And for me, I turn the hairline red because then I know that I've turned it and it's done. Okay, so that's that. The next thing we're going to do, this word is together, obviously. We want to separate the letters in order to then bring them back together and overlap them. So for me on this program, I go up to Object, Break Artistic Text, and your program may be a little different. Now each letter is on its own, and we can move each letter. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to move this O over to the B, and you have to overlap it enough where it's not going to break apart. It's going to stay connected. And you also want it to look good for you. Let me show you here. We can bring this over, and that's connected. I can break that apart, but it'll also break off. So do make sure that it's over enough where you've got enough space here holding everything together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to group it. You don't have to at this point, but I do because it's just easier and I've gotten in that habit. I'm also going to center it. I like to center everything. Okay, so now we want to cut these lines because if we don't, obviously it'll all come apart. If I go to cut it, and this is Corel, yours may be different, it won't cut. So what I have to do is I have to go up to Object, and I have to convert this to curves. Again, every program's different. Get my tool, and now you can see I can cut it apart. And now I have a boo. I mean, that was pretty simple, wasn't it? You can hang this particular word just this way if you want. You put a ribbon through this cutout and this cutout, and you're done. Over here, I added the circle. Well, let me show you how I do that, just in case you haven't. I'm going to make this 0.2, doing a size that works for me. I'm going to make a copy of the point of this one, and I'm going to paste that. While this is highlighted, the one that's pasted is going to be 0.4. And again, just sizes that work for me. All right, so boo is centered. Now we're going to center these. I'm going to bring this straight up, holding my shift key to wherever looks good. And you want to make sure this is a good size for your ornament. So let's make this a little bit bigger. That's probably good. Okay, and I'm going to move this up a little bit more. Okay, that's good for this. This is good. You will play around with that. The next thing you're going to do is anything that overlaps, you do have to cut out. If you don't, when you laser it, it obviously will cut and fall apart. There's your ornament. I'm going to group it. And again, that's just my way. And when I drew this, it was not done in hairline. So I've got to make sure the whole thing is now hairline again. There we have it. I will tell you at this point, I would cut this out. I would cut it out of scrap because even though this is centered and this is centered, when you do a word like this, you don't know if it's going to actually be balanced. So cut it out if it's not balanced, I usually stick a rod through it or a pencil through it and just make sure it's going straight across. You come back in, you ungroup it, you move this over left or right, however much you want. It's trial and error, and you cut it again until you get it. Okay, so the next thing you want to do, well, actually, you're done. If you just want the word boo, you are all done. I'm going to make a copy and that's that down. So there's your boo. You're all done. Or you can get rid of that, and now you have a place to either etch a design or cut out another design, or like I did over here, I did the designs in this case, what you're seeing is circles. And if you look, they're not centered on it because this was an oval. But at the time, I was doing multiple designs. Some were witches in hats and bats, and they were their own design. And I would put them on going any which way, and it looked really good. So, that's just how I did this group. I cut out the bees first, so I had a lot of them, and it was just a big production work kind of a thing. So that's up to you what you do with that. Now, you're done. You got your boo, you got your ornament, everything's good. I hope this showed you how to do it. I hope it made sense. Um, if you're doing multiple words, if you're doing a word within a design, it's a little bit different and you probably figure it out. But if not, give me a yell and I'll do another tutorial going into a little bit more. Anyways, thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have a very, very creative day. Thank you.